Okay, so with plantar fascia, we've got, I'm going to show you a couple of stretches to try. I'm also going to show you a kind of a strengthening exercise with some of the newer research saying, hey, we almost need to think of the fascia as like a muscle or tendon and try to toughen it up, so to speak. So in order to do that, I've got two ways we can try doing a heel raise here. If we envision, we'll say it's my right foot that's having the problem. I want to take a rolled up towel and I want to stand so that the ball of my foot's still on the ground, but my toes are bent on that towel. Now we could also use an ab mat, that works too if you had that, but if you don't, we'll take the towel and I'll go ahead and put my other foot on there too. They also actually even sell contraptions just for this, but we're going to try a heel raise, slowly up, pause for a couple of seconds, slow back down. We're just going to start to go up and down, and by having the toes already bent, we start to put tension across the fascia a little more quickly than we would otherwise. So we're working through that. As you get a little stronger, a little more tolerant, then we could even start to do it just on the involved foot. Or as an in-between, we can go up with both and then just lower down on the involved foot. That'd be if you felt it was really easy to do it on both legs together, but it was a little too painful to start doing it on just one leg at a time. So that's how we can start to strengthen and toughen up the fascia. I've also shown that stretching can help, namely of the calf muscle. So I'm going to show you two ways that I like to have my patients dealing with plantar fasciitis start to stretch. One of them, we can think of the standard calf stretch that a lot of people do, where we have the ankle, the involved leg behind you and the knee straight. So you may feel that in the calf muscle, which is great, but if we want to get it a little lower down, allow that back knee to bend. And many times that leads to the stretch being felt a little lower down in the back of the calf. And in that particular muscle tends to have a little more influence on the plantar fascia than the larger calf muscle does. So usually with this type of stretch, you may feel it a little down in there. The third stretch, third exercise, second stretch we can try that I really like a lot of my patients do, and they seem to feel better doing this one, is to take a towel, usually a longer towel, beach towel, long bath towel works. We want to sit so that the weight of the leg is holding the towel down. We want to wrap the towel around the feet so that we can then bend the toes back. I'll show you, show you a little bit. We're bending the toes back. And then I'm pulling back. So depending upon where you're the tightest, you may feel that stretch in the back of the calf. You may feel it around the bottom of the foot or the toes. I don't want it to hurt. We're not looking for pain, but you should feel like, oh yeah, that feels like a pretty good stretch anywhere from the bottom of the foot up the calf. I really recommend doing this one maybe before you get out of bed as a way to try to prep the foot for getting up in the morning, or if you've been sitting for a while, but really anytime you can fit it in. We also have, that I'll go into in later videos, several strengthening exercises for just the smaller foot muscles that can tend to help with plantar fasciitis, and then other things like temporary over-the-counter orthotics to support the arch, or even taping of the arch to provide support, support tends to work well. Things to avoid if you're dealing with this: if you're a runner or an avid exerciser trying to cut down on the volume of running, amount of time, sometimes it just needs a little bit of rest to allow that fascia to calm down. Also, minimize walking barefoot. Usually when the pain is really bad, we're trying to limit being bare feet because that tends to put a little more strain on the fascia. And just understand that getting rid of plantar fasciitis takes a long time. You can do everything perfectly and it still can take months before it gets back to normal. So you have to be patient with it. You have to be consistent with working on it.